Oh, hi. You're listening to North of Weatherfield, the Canadian Coronation Street podcast. I'm Brittlestar.
And this week... Oh, sorry. I'm Shannon.
Yeah, I know. Were you just excited because you'd chosen a character that you want to be this week?
No, I forgot about that, but I was going to do the date.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead. Do the date part first.
This week, we are covering episodes that aired in Canada, February 12th to 16th. So if you haven't watched those yet, don't listen to this because we're going to be talking about everything that happened.
Avert your ears, basically.
Avert your ears and your eyes. Yes.
So this week, who are you going to be, Shannon? Which character are you going to be?
I think I'm going to be Linda because she isn't in very often and she has fabulous hair. And really all you have to do is keep your teeth together when you're talking.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think I would like to be, this week I'm going to be Gary Windass this week. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You could bring your Gordon Ramsay Bob back into play, I feel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So this is our first one we're doing remotely. So this is a little bit different.
Yes. Because I'm in England.
Because I'm still, in the ginnel. But you seem to actually have...
Just where we record.
You seem to have an actual English kitchen in your background.
Yes, complete with English kettle, which boils very fast, and my tongue's still burnt from yesterday morning. And you can't see it probably in the grid.
The cup of tea or coffee cools at the same rate.
No, it doesn't. There's something that defies physics. It defies science.
It still boils at 100 degrees.
It's way hotter here. It's incredibly hot when it comes out because it boils so quickly.
Play the theme song.
You can't see just out of frame is a variety pack of Walker's crisps, and my mom enjoyed some prawn cocktail last night. So at about 10:30 at night, and I think she had some today as well when we came back.
Play the theme song.
So yeah, that's right. Wait, hold for theme. I don't know what's happening. Did it stop?
It stopped now. There you go.
Okay, good.
It's just us again.
Good. I couldn't see it.
So here's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Some of us may not have finished watching the whole week. So you're just going to have to trust me on what happened.
Exactly. One of us missed about 10 minutes of the last episode.
So we are going to talk about Joseph, Gemma, and Chesney.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to talk about Bernie and Dev.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Lauren and what she's going through. We're going to talk about Adam and Damon, although they weren't in it very much this week. And then the big storyline, which was Liam, Dylan, and Mason.
All right. I'm ready.
All right.
Let's dive in.
All right. So first of all, poor Joseph. Those of us who suspected he had something actually wrong with him were correct. So he passed out, and Linda and Chesney had to take him to the hospital. Luckily, Billy was able to take the quads to the flat. And those 4 quads, when they're in that tiny flat occupied by Billy and Paul, you never see or hear them. Little angels.
They must little angels you can keep in a cupboard. Obviously.
Exactly.
Maybe they're in the kitchen with the benzos.
That's the next thing we're talking about. So anyway, turns out he has Lyme disease. Turns out he has Lyme disease, which I was actually not aware you could get that in the UK. So, hey, learn something new every day. It's a thing that in Canada they would be screening for now. And Joseph's going to be okay. But the takeaway from it is he has no time for Chesney because Chesney doesn't believe him when he says he doesn't feel well.
Yeah, he's still pretty angry.
Yes, and so is Gemma. Gemma's allowed back home, and she's making Chesney sleep on the couch.
I think it's fair for Gemma to be upset, and I understand why she's upset. I think I was surprised at Joseph because when you're a kid, you're not believed, and you kind of just get used to it. Don't you think? You're just kind of like
Yes, but you're often not believed because it might not be true. So this time he was vindicated, and he's like, "See, I wasn't lying. You said I was lying."
I mean, what I didn't like about Chesney's behavior with what's his face? Wait, I've lost his name already. Joseph, right? Is that he was kind of getting a bit kind of glib about it. He was like, you're fine. Just walk it off. You're okay. You're all right. You're totally fine. Whereas I think Gemma was just paying attention to the signs, and she was like, wait a minute, this is now. If he's faking it, he must be getting bored of faking it by now.
I think that's kind of the key.
Kids try to stay off school as much as they can, but then after a while, they're like, this is boring. School's at least interesting.
Yes, although you never hear about Joseph and any of his friends at school, so he could have been in a Liam bullying situation, which is making his stomach not feel well.
That's true. But yeah, no, I think I'm on Gemma's side, and I'm on Joseph's side as well.
Luckily, Dr. Gaddis was there, spotted it, suspected Lyme disease, and had them test for it.
I know. She swanned in, and she was like, "You guys like my new haircut?
This medicine thing
guess
is
what?
Easy."
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, you like my new haircut? Guess what? Your kid has Lyme disease. That's what she said.
Yeah.
It was a dramatic line. But yeah, it was good.
And it was good for a while when Chesney and Gemma were at the hospital. At least we knew that Linda was being the responsible adult with the quads. We knew where they were, who was looking after them, and we saw them.
Yeah. I think because I feel good when she's looking after the quads because I feel she's got the money to get them out of trouble. You know what I mean? Like she probably just like takes them out and and hires someone right away. Unless
they end up all crawling into that giant huge fridge that she bought them, which I don't understand as a British person who's aware of British kitchens, and she has been at their house a number of times. I don't understand how you buy that fridge.
And I think we've yet to see the fridge in the kitchen. But I don't think we've seen it in the kitchen yet.
I believe it's in the corner of the living room.
Oh.
Which is the only place it could go.
By the table, by the dining table.
Yeah, but on the side we never see.
Yeah, exactly. So that's convenient.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry, I've got your sister text me, but it's not urgent.
Okay, that's fine.
I say that now. Let's hope she doesn't watch this. I don't think she does. Okay, moving on. Bernie.
Okay.
Bernie is back.
Bernie, yep.
So Bernie is out of jail.
Back. Yeah.
Poor Bernie. Dev picked her up from prison and insisted on bringing her straight into the Rovers. Like, straight into the Rovers. I would have been extremely upset. Like,
you think Bernie wouldn't have wanted to go into the Rovers right after?
I think she'd probably want to shower in privacy.
Yeah, that's true. Do
you know what I mean? To be able to, yeah. So I thought that was a weird one. But then we learned it's really because Dev's having a hard time with this whole thing.
He is. I thought that was one of my favorite parts of this past week. I was seeing him lose it and get all emotional, because he's so melodramatic anyway. And it was just, I just love when Dev does things like, it's just so hard, man. It's just so hard. I love when he does this.
That's pretty good.
Was that good?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Okay, well, I'm not using it in any sort of romantic sense, so just relax, all right? So
I'll be able to talk you into it. The other thing I like about Dev is that he's one of the few families on the street who's like, no, we don't get used to people in our family being in jail for murder and arson. And like everyone else is like, oh, yeah, I've murdered a couple people, been in jail a few times. You know, Dev's like, this isn't normal.
This is scary, though, because he's right. Like, everyone else is so blasé about the whole thing, about all the weird stuff that happens in the street. Is Dev us? Is Dev the real people? Is Dev like regular folk?
Is he the narrator, basically? The one looking from the outside?
Yes. Does he represent the audience in the show? Because if that's terrifying, because that's looking in a mirror that you don't want to see in.
Listen, I still have no problem with Dev.
Still
a little sweet on him.
Actually, it's pretty great. I do. I just love his squeaky voice.
But then Bernie decides to become super involved, grandparent and parent.
Yeah.
And, parent. So she heads on over to Paul's place. and decides that, so Moses is there. So she says to Moses, nope, don't actually stay for your shift today. I'm going to do it all. And then she proceeds to just clean the cupboards rather than, hang out with her dying son who's only going to be alive for a few more months.
I thought that was weird. I thought that was super weird. It didn't feel natural. It felt like very just forced, I thought. I didn't like it.
I feel it's to harken back to the early Coronation Streets, which were identifying with that woman of 1960s, 50s, earlier UK, which was, we're going to give this place a good bottoming, we're going to give it a good scrub, we're going to give it a good clean. And that was your identity. That was what you did to help everyone. These women who are for some reason like soap and water cleaning the stone step into the house every day. Like,
yeah.
I feel that's what she was doing. She was hearkening throwback to that sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so. I sort of feel like it was just to set up the drama of her almost finding the drugs, right? Almost finding the benzos. Right. It didn't. I also don't understand how. I agree. I also didn't understand how in a flat the size of that one that Paul, Billy, and Summer are living in, they have 2 giant boxes of sugary cereal, obviously from when Summer came to live with them when she was 12. When she was 12, exactly.
Has no one ever
really
been
the
like,
worst hiding spot?
No one's ever like, you know what? We all would rather have muesli nowadays, but we don't have the cupboard space.
Yeah, we because we don't have the cupboard space because we've got these old boxes of cereal we can't throw out ever. And you know what would be great? We'll hide something right behind them.
And then, so also this led to the drama. So the good news, Todd and Moses ran into each other and they were like,
I like that. I like that couple.
Day off.
Yeah.
Let's go to Speed Doll. And Moses was like, I've really been wanting to try this restaurant. It's like Buddy, the Rovers, Speed Doll, the Calf.
The Bistro.
The Bistro. That's it. You're going nowhere else.
That's 4 choices, but that's it.
There's no Pizza Express in your future.
No, exactly. I've really been meaning to try this restaurant. He'd be like living that as a curse. It's like he's cursed himself.
Exactly. So that was very nice. But then Paul is texting Todd, although he's not texting very clearly. It's like Bernie is not reading your texts. So I don't know why he was so cryptic. Help.
Yeah.
And then he's like, the stash.
Mind you, he can only still uses one hand though currently, right?
Oh,
is that right?
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, he's not exactly.
So it's going to be very telegraphic. Yeah, it's going to be very short.
He can't speech dictate. Okay, yep. I stand corrected. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is why when they say the stash, why Todd didn't say to Moses, I think I'll only be a few minutes, but I'll text you.
Yes. Exactly.
Like why didn't, because he left the money for the bill. Great. Why not just say, I'm going to update you in 10 minutes and tell you if I'm coming back or not?
Yeah, exactly. That's all it takes. Because it's right across the street, essentially, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't yet created any restaurants. We haven't yet created any restaurants in the new location of the charity shop and the flats and the playground.
There's an ice cream shop there. We know that.
That's true. Yes.
But that's not enough for dinner, though.
All right, Lauren. Lauren is our next one. So
Lauren.
I know. So she's looking lovely with her new hair that Max did for her. She was talking to Max and Sabrina was saying she wanted to, I couldn't tell if Sabrina was saying she actually wanted to learn coding or if Lauren saying something about her boyfriend being a coder made her say she wanted to do coding to try to ask to meet him. But in any case,
I don't know either.
Lauren went back to the person on the phone with that sort of message, they broke up. Now, I think this is a genuine, although unhealthy, unbalanced relationship. But you don't think, you still don't think it's a real boyfriend?
No, I don't. I think just because we heard a little clip of her calling or being on the phone, and just the language she was using was very like, it was like she was talking to an adult. It was like she was talking to her dad.
I think she is talking to an adult. But I think
maybe it's like a sugar daddy type situation or a wannabe sugar daddy situation.
Yeah. I mean, good on her if it is a sugar daddy. I feel he's probably not got that much money, so whoever it is probably not that sugar.
How old is our Lauren? How old is our
Way too
Lauren?
young. She's under 18.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she wasn't allowed to drink.
That's right. And I felt this is one more reason I hate Bobby. And Simon. I don't like either of them. It's just to jump slightly sideways here in this story. But when they went, Lauren and Sabrina went into the bistro together, and Simon and Bobby are tossing a few down, and Simon turns around and goes, "Oi, ladies!" And like, oh my god! And Bobby made the comment. He said, like, "Oh, looks like Little Mix showed up, but one of them was missing," which is a funny joke, but not if they're under 18.
No, and also, what I don't get, I get why Lauren wanted to go over. Why was Sabrina going over? Like, why?
I don't know. It's just a sign of how young she is, Shannon. She should know better, and she doesn't, but she's so young. She doesn't know better. Yeah,
true,
I was like, come on, Bobby. I mean, I expect this of Simon now. Simon's let me down so many times that I just can't, my heart's too scared to trust him anymore. And Bobby is just, I'm done with Bobby. Bobby, get out of here. Just go away.
So do you think when Simon was giving Sabrina the heads up that, Max is racist, or at least has been in the past racist, do you think Simon wasn't doing it as a friendly heads up? Do you think he was doing it more to like try to skewer the relationship?
Nothing Simon does is done as a friendly heads up. Everything is self-serving. He is bizarrely, and for reasons known only to him and the people who write his lines, unbelievably self-serving. Like it's going to get him ahead, and it never gets him ahead.
Yeah. But he's got Peter and Carla and Leanne as great examples of great parents.
Yeah, that's all been smooth. Jail, prostitution. Vapes.
Okay. Vapes. I know, he just gave up on that whole thing, that whole career. It's like, I bought
I know that
one
was exactly,
box from
what did he
Amazon
do with the rest of the boxes? Did he get rid of the boxes of vapes?
I mean, well, no, they got stolen. Remember?
All of them got stolen?
By Mason.
I thought they got them
from
back.
The back of the car.
Yeah, I know. Or did Mason
know.
get rid of them?
I don't know. But anyways, there went his career in buying Amazon returns.
Yeah.
All right, Adam and Damon. We didn't see much of them this week.
No.
But so let's talk once again about Sarah Louise's poor choices.
Yes.
She wasn't going to be able to pick Harry up from school because she had a meeting. So she asked Damon, who she'd been dating for 3 days, to go to the school and pick Harry up, and apparently he was able to do so.
Who's like a mobbed up gangster?
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense.
But also just plain old mom's new boyfriend. Like, cringe.
Yeah, that was weird. No. Totally weird. This is the kind of thing that Dev has a problem with.
Exactly. Now, then Damon, who I still think is trying to go on the straight and narrow, but he does hate Adam
now too. I'm leaning that way.
Adam makes things more complicated for him, but he did, knowing Adam was going to be picking Harry up later for dinner, he did take Harry to the bistro and ply him with chips and
that
drinks,
was mean,
so that he was going to be full. But also, Sarah, you don't actually message Adam to say, "Oh, by the way,
exactly.
Damon has our son."
Yeah, no, that's craziness. Listen,
Sarah,
Simon and Sarah have broken my heart
make better
so many
choices.
times. Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
And then to finish off, the probably the one that was the biggest twists and turns storyline: Liam, Dylan, and Mason. Liam,
yes,
we found out right at the beginning of the week, had been bunking off school, and essentially using online notes to forge, pretending Gary had told the school that he was unwell, and he ended up getting caught out and in trouble. And to their credit, Maria and Gary were like, "What's going on? You being bullied?" And he was like, "Nope." But he was. One of the things I liked here was Jake, the little brother, who's appearing more now.
Yeah.
he came and said to Liam, I got a message on my PS4 from that Mason kid, and he's going to beat you up or something like that. And
he wants to meet at a certain time.
I don't think enough parents are aware that their young kids on gaming devices are able to talk to strangers.
Just get messages,
people from school,
like text messages, equivalent of text messages. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guarantee the reason he doesn't have a phone is because they don't want him on social media contacting strangers.
No, I think exactly. I think you can restrict them so that it's not just randos entirely, but that doesn't mean that like there's the kids are kids accept friends' numbers like my mother accepts Facebook friend requests. It's anything goes. So, yeah, I think you have to be aware of that as a parent, which is really important. But it was also good just as well to be like the little kids in a sibling situation. They pay attention. They know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
I think they mature a little bit faster in a weird way because they're looking at a version of themselves a couple of years ahead, and they know what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, never mind the fact that his father is a multi-murderer. Not that we know about it yet, but. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So Liam decides, okay, he's been forced to go back to school. Decides he's going to have to confront Mason because Gary gave a bit of a talking to. Gary, I did appreciate Gary's input in this where he's like, he's a realist. Now, he was...
Yeah.
I don't think he was actually implying that Liam should be fighting Mason because Gary has seen Mason and Gary has seen Liam, and I don't think he thinks Liam's going to win that fight. Like, so I don't feel he was saying to him, stand up to your bully and try to take him out. Which is what Liam heard, I think.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, because it sounds like the easy answer. It sounds like they just punch him and it'll be over. It's like, that's not how it works.
It'll be over. No. Only in half-hour after-school specials that have to wrap it up.
Exactly.
So anyways, go to school. Liam decides to do what he has to do to get his phone back. Also, I don't know how he's not had his phone that night and Maria and Gary haven't noticed because I guarantee you he sits on his phone all the time.
Totally.
But anyways.
Yeah.
And anyways, Dylan, feeling a little bit of remorse, decides to try to keep Liam safe. So he goes up to him and he says, don't bother doing this. You're not going to win. You won't get your phone back. It's not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And Liam, quite rightly, doesn't trust Dylan anymore because Dylan has been stabbing him in the back constantly.
Dylan's dirty.
Liam goes to meet Mason. He's walking up behind Dylan. He hears Dylan trying to talk Mason out of fighting him, but he's saying he's a loser. You don't want to bother.
Yeah.
And then Liam takes offense to that, scuffles with him. They get in a fight. Good old Mrs. Crawshaw sees, breaks it up. But then when they're going home, because they have to go to the office, then they're going home, and Maria and Gary have picked up Liam, and Sean has picked up Dylan. And Sean lays into Gary and Maria.
Yeah. I mean, who was without sin.
As a parent, I get you're protective of your kid and you believe what your kid says.
Sure.
Even when you probably shouldn't always. But here's my thing. I think that Dylan is kind of like his dad in that they're your best friend until they're not, and then they'll absolutely stab you in your back.
Absolutely. Which is frustrating because I want to like both of them. Well, I don't care about Dylan, but I want to like Sean, and you just can't. You can't trust him. I quite like
Dylan. I want to like Dylan, and he has his moments, and I feel I don't know. Maybe we need Violet up here. Maybe she's a better influence.
I feel we're maybe arcing though to showdown where Dylan's going to prove the fact that something's going to go too far, but before it goes irreversibly too far, I think Dylan's going to step up and he's going to, I don't know, stand up to Mason or something. Plus, also here's the big issue I had today. I was catching up on one of the episodes, and the big issue I have is the teacher, who the Mason kid says, Liam punched Dylan for no reason at all, and the teacher's like, "Oh, is that true?" That's like, come on, do you not? She must know.
There is no way she would believe that. She would maybe, and plus, why is she questioning the kids in front of Mason?
Exactly.
For a start,
tell me what
the one
happened
thing that
separately.
Plus, also, head teachers have the power to say, Mason, leave here right now. Even though it's lunchtime. You can still tell him to get lost, and he will eventually.
Of course. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, that was poor. Listen, her haircut is not as good as Dr. Gadass's, so
no, but she wishes she looked as good as her Dr. Gadass's hair.
She used to. I don't like the new one. I don't know. So anyways, so that was poorly handled. But then at the end of it, as you maybe didn't see this yet because you didn't see the last bit. I didn't see
the end of it. No. Tell me.
So after that whole thing with Sean, so first of all, sticking to the Sean Tully residence.
Sean Tully, yeah.
Sean was ranting, raving about this whole thing, so angry at Maria and so angry at Gary and so angry at Liam and blah, blah, blah. And Dylan was sitting there not saying anything. And George, the Undertaker, was sitting there listening. Mm-hmm. And George, I think as a kid, was more on Liam's side of things.
Well, we know that from his original storyline that he was bullied as a kid. Yeah. Remember that guy came was dating Eileen for a bit and he hated him and stuff? And
Yeah, so George sees that side of it, whereas, Gary, he was able to help out Liam because Gary was Gary would have been beating up George at school.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So I appreciated that George was listening and sort of trying to be the voice of reason. But anyways, going up to Gary and Maria's flat, Liam, and the phone buzzes, and Gary is a rebel and just lets the person up, as you do. And it was Craig. Yeah. And Craig's like, I wanted to do this in person rather than calling you, and to let you know that tomorrow we're going to need Liam to come down to the station because he's been charged with assault. And we need him to bring a responsible adult with him. Good shocked response.
That's awful. That's terrible.
So presumably that's Sean.
Listen, I mean, yes. Yeah, obviously Sean has done it because he's being overprotective and being blind to the fact that he knows he shouldn't be blind because Dylan has done lots of things wrong that he's been like, I don't know if I should totally trust this kid. Yeah, that's horrible. He knows
he was involved in the stealing and selling of vapes to underagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
See, but this is the thing. This is the thing is that George, the character, I've never really enjoyed, except for his bullying storyline, and he's great because he looks very he's very empathetic to what's happening, which is it's awesome because he's a big dude as well, which is great. And just like Sean, there's times when I've loved Sean, and now not so much. Yeah.
See, I like George.
That's the thing.
I mean, if George and Eileen break up, I'm going to stay George's friend.
Really? Picking side? Well, actually, I would too. I'm not a big fan of Eileen. We all know that. It all stems back to that time she gave me an icy answer to my question in real life.
In real life, when you were in the audience and she was on stage, and you were one of
our real lives, Shannon. It's still our real lives.
That's your real life.
I'm sure she didn't mean it personally, but I took it personally. So
she didn't blank me. I mean, I didn't say anything to her, but still, nothing personal happened to me.
Exactly. Well, that's pretty good. I think this, considering we did this a chunk of it remotely, I think we did pretty good for this week.
A chunk? Oh, meaning you with watching. I know. Are you going to be able to keep up for next week? I like the way you say that.
I will.
So convincingly.
I'll make a point. I'll be staying in a hotel room of my own next week, and I feel that it's a good reason to go back to my hotel room alone, which is good, as opposed to be with my family. So, yeah, it'll be great.
All right.
All right.
So that's if you subscribe to the podcast on Substack, which is free, then you can comment on it. So, and there's been a lovely little community of people commenting on the past episodes.
Yes,
so
it's been really exciting. It's really active.
Yeah,
it's been super active. Yeah. It's super awesome. I'll pop in there when I can, and I know that Shannon, you've been popping in a lot of the time, and answering and getting conversations going. And
other people that watch it are better at remembering what happened in the past and people's names than we are. So that's good.
And I think it's good because there's sometimes it's hard when you're a fan of Coronation Street. There's not a lot of people in real life around you that are fans of Coronation Street. And yes. I know that Shannon and I don't really we have a couple of friends who are fans. But I think they just do it for us, maybe. Maybe they just tolerate it for us.
They do not. Sorry, it's not about you. No, it's not about you.
Okay, all right.
Oh, dear.
Well, listen, I'm going to enjoy my new shirt, which it's not really new. It's been waiting for me in the UK because I left it here last February, and it's still here. And I don't know if they cleaned my shirts or if it's just they've been cleaned by time. It might have just been cleaned by time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like how they get rid of
Thanks so much.
Toxic soil.
Exactly. It's like I'm the petrol station of shirt wearers. Exactly.
Yeah.
I said petrol station because I'm here. Because I've already adapted. I've acclimatized. Or as they say here, acclimatized. No, they don't. I don't know. I'm just making that up.
Now go get yourself a chippy tea.
That's exactly. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you tune in and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. North of Weatherfield, a Canadian Coronation Street podcast. Let's hold for theme, and then we'll do a little tag. I can't tell if it's finished. Is it finished now?
It's finished now. It just finished. And
okay, good.
I think since I'm Linda, I'm going to say I really don't think a chippy tea is good for them. I think, my fishmonger had some lovely haddock in. I'll just go pick that up and we'll have it with some of the quinoa salad. It'll be delicious.
She would have quinoa salad, totally. And I think I'll do Gary, and Gary would just be like, no, it's fine. He's always doing like the boxer thing with his nose. Thanks for listening.
Bye.